Okay.
Mm.
Okay, we are
Yeah,
live.
we are live.
Okay, you will get notification when we are in
Yeah,
live.
I got.
Okay, so this particular video we are trying to make with the use of Microsoft Powerflow that we have, and Microsoft already gave something called UI flows, which is related to RPA again.
Mm-hmm.
What it does is it gives us plugins so that we can directly integrate something from the website. There is no need for us to have some tool they downloaded and installed in our machines. Something like what Automation Anywhere 2019 came up with. It
Okay.
went completely into cloud-based IDE now. The same way we have this in our Microsoft Flow
Microsoft
as well.
Flow.
Yes. So here, if we want to see with the flows, there are multiple things. But see here, this UI flows and business flows are something that we need to take it for free trial. If we
Okay.
don't have the free trial, again it will be 1 month free trial, nothing
Mm-hmm.
more. Okay, but here if you have,
Business Flow as well.
yes, we do have flows as well, but I haven't tried anything on this. What we have is my flows and team flows. When we have a group of developers who are developing on specific solution, then we can move it to team flows.
Teams
But
flows
if we are doing something individually on
individually.
our own, then we can use something called my flows. Simple.
Okay. Okay. Can you go on this create one? Uh,
Which,
this in near just near next to my flows. There's one
okay.
plus button. This one. No, no, no. On the left
Okay, I
side.
am giving you the option to remote. Okay, you can use remote control or you can use annotation. But yeah, what is it?
I don't know how to. Okay.
What are you
This
talking about? Create.
this one. Yeah. So
Okay.
this
So
we got to know.
what
These
is
two.
create? What things do we have in create? So
Mm-hmm.
automated flow is something that let's say that I got an email.
Mm-hmm.
So upon receiving an email, I need to trigger some flow
Process. Okay. Some
process.
flow.
Okay, and instant flow is something that we need to start manually.
Okay. Attended.
Attended, something like an attended, but you need to trigger it on your own.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
but here if you see with schedule flow, like it's like an orchestrator scheduler. Whenever you need to we need to run this particular flow, you can schedule it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Understood.
but in UiPath, what do we have? We have something called RE framework, which is already available. Background process template that's already available. So there are some templates, right? Which
Correct.
normally UiPath provided us. So in the same
State.
way,
Mm-hmm.
this particular values are also being provided by,
Microsoft.
okay, this particular provided values are also provided by Microsoft. Okay, in this we'll have connectors. So what connectors in the sense? They are, everything is like an API.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so instead
Well,
of we write a code for it, there will be pre-built activities that we can directly drag and drop so that we can use them.
yeah. Yeah.
That's
I've
how
seen
simple
that.
it is.
Yeah, I've seen that lot of like two different other channels. They are
Yeah.
giving premium, like premium.
Yes,
That is, those are not free, but
correct.
most of them are like we can use it for free. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you have something that you have developed for your company which is custom, then you can always use it for as a premium. Like see here, there is time ghost engagement, something like this. And but we have Twitter, SharePoint, and all which comes with Microsoft. Those are for free of use. Anyhow,
Okay.
we are going to buy the licenses that if we need to use Office 365 or SharePoint. So that comes up with this Microsoft Flow or Power Automate. So this
Mm-hmm.
Power Automate consists of something called UI flows as well and business process flows as well. But we are targeting right now mainly with my flows
My
or
flows.
flow. Okay, so what flow is? It's like a sequential representation of activities again to
Correct.
perform a specific task at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's as
Yeah.
simple as it. But again, the something that I have seen is we can also send HTTP requests to start a flow.
Okay.
Okay, so if I have something like this, we can also do a post request. Okay, when I do something with a post request, I'm just sending it to my teams, something with the teams.
Okay.
So I just
Basic.
mean to say that there is a trigger. So there is something called trigger activity and there is something called action activity.
Okay.
Trigger activity will be at the start of the flow and action activities will be in the next of the flows.
Means whatever action we need to provide, those are comes
Yes,
into action activities. Yeah.
exactly. Something we need to do here. So how this activities will come into place? Something with this action
And
activities. Yeah. Some. So if we want to search, we can also search for trigger. Okay. Okay. Oh, what is this? Okay. We can go for a trigger,
trigger.
and using trigger we have multiple triggers which we have. In the same way, we can also go for this. I went for HTTP. In this
HTTP
HTTP,
you have already used now when a HTTP request is triggered to start a
yes.
trigger.
So HTTP request, see there are multiple HTTP requests. We can receive a request using HTTP post message. So
Okay.
using some postman or some other service, we can also
Hmm.
post a request, but we can also send a request from this HTTP service.
So all these are premium. So these are free. Like I can see
For
premium.
now, I'm using this for free. But if you have something, if you're using your Office account or your
Uh,
Microsoft account from your organization, then mostly you should have used. You must have access to use them. But I don't
okay.
have any. I didn't see any problem
Hmm.
using
Okay.
this. Okay,
I think if we are able to use it, then I think it's free.
because I'm able to use it. So I'm also using my organization account, which is Value Momentum. So I'm able to use it. I didn't see any issue using these activities.
Understood.
Okay. So again, what exactly are we discussing about in this particular use case? In my earlier use case, in the demo which you have seen,
Hmm.
I actually triggered the bot, UiPath bot, using a Microsoft form. Like
Okay.
whenever a form is submitted, I triggered the bot. How exactly did that happen? Let's see with this particular code. I actually made this completely as a reusable component. So what I'm thinking
Hmm.
is I'm trying to make this component available for everyone. So
Okay.
I'm using some logic maybe to add more subscriptions to my YouTube channel. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a form.
Hmm.
So in that form, I'm requesting user for his email ID and his YouTube name, username.
YouTube name. Okay.
Okay, so whenever and also there are, I would like to add a list of actions or a list with a drop down to
Hmm.
get all these activities. Like whenever you can add you do have a different sequence or a different sequence to add to a UiPath queue. Start a process with a process name to a UiPath queue, but
Acha,
you
these are
already.
in the drop down. Which action you want to use?
So that's what I want to implement, but this is what I'm thinking about. So if you want to take, or if someone want to have this particular list of items, so
Uh-huh.
a Microsoft link will be a Microsoft form will be provided. So
Hmm.
what that form actually does is whenever a request is submitted, it will check with your email and also it will check with your username. So for every UiPath in UiPath, sorry, in your, so if I see here, I have my name as UiPath by Vajrang Bilakurti, right? So
Yeah.
if this matches, then I'm sending them over an email. That's what my idea is. Small,
The
simple
code.
use case, but that's something that can be achievable with UiPath as well as Microsoft Forms. That's the main motto of showing this particular demo or trying
Okay.
to implement that. But again, coming back to this particular item, which we are trying to do. See, this is simple flow that I'm trying to explain here. There is nothing complex, but the only thing that we need
Hmm.
to see is with how exactly are we trying to implement them.
I just wanted one question to
Yeah.
ask you. Like this, you are saying that this you code you will share once they give all these details.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So when you are give like when you will give that your this tenant logical name and all those things will you will not give now this client ID and all those things.
No, they will not be. So
Uh,
what happens is I will remove everything from this particular code. Like even now I can delete them, but
uh,
for this demo, let them be. So everything with this, and moreover, even if they have form ID, they cannot do anything because they don't have the access for this form ID.
okay,
So even so you can easily share with these details, but the only thing is with the um, tenant logical name as well as the user key, these things need
hmm,
to be secure. Other than that,
correct.
we can share anything with the flow. So let's see with this
Client ID as well.
what exactly I have configured, so that it's easy for everyone to just go ahead and drag and drop this particular code. Or so what exactly we can do, there is an option in Microsoft in my flows to import the flow.
Okay,
So if I export this and if I give you as a zip file, you can directly import it into
imported.
your flow. So
Yeah,
it's very
micro.
easy. Just pull
Hmm.
it up and add them to your flows, and they are readily available for you.
Understood, understood. So once
Perfect.
the form is submitted, then you need to give all this detail.
Yes. So here again, you need to map your own form.
Correct, correct.
This is
All
my
your own.
form, but again, here you need to map your own form.
Give your details, and
Yeah.
then HTTP request to start. Oh, means
Okay. So this is a bit of lengthy code again. But while if you want to implement something with my code, things are available right away because I have kept everything with dynamic values and variables. So all you need to do is add few values, and it's like adding a chatbot details.
so.
How we added
This one
chatbot
is
details.
for activity. This is for activity. Apply for each job
Yeah,
ID.
this is like a for each loop that's
Okay,
available in Microsoft Flow. So
okay.
everything is possible with Microsoft Flows. The main drawback that they didn't go with the desktop automation is they don't have an implementation like robot, like our UiPath robot or Win Automation robot
Uh,
available in the machine. Since now they have purchased Win Automation, we are going to see a lot of integration with UiPath flows as well as Microsoft this Win Automation. Maybe
correct.
in future they might be just saying that Windows Automate or Win Automate. That's it.
Yeah, I think Win Automation is morely they have focused like Win Automation is for they are known for desktop automation, and they have
Correct.
this they have another tool, unique tool that is Process Robot.
Correct.
That is more popular, and I think they have only currently they have done means for only for Win Automation, right? Or
Correct.
Robot is also now with Microsoft.
Exactly. And even now UiPath has provided UI flows through
Hmm.
which they have given some through browser they can directly automate the things. Then they don't need a specific IDE to do this.
Correct, correct.
If they have internet connection and if they have a browser, then things are available for them right away from their machines. Any browser they can use.
And any a lot of plugins are there. By Microsoft, a lot of
Exactly,
plugins.
and they need not worry about system performance issues as well because things will be there in the browser, and they have
Correct.
their own servers to provide the support for us. So things will mostly be excited in future with WinAutomate as well as Microsoft Flows.
Yeah. And I've also heard the cost means the license cost of the Power
License
Automate
cost is
very
it's
less.
lesser, and
One
also
third of
I'm seeing that
UiPath.
around $40 per month per user per bot.
Okay.
So that's
What?
what I'm actually seeing with them. Maybe it might be different, but again they're going with a good move.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy for them also to get the things done, and also to get like see earlier Slack used to be some of one of the communicator which actually many organizations try to migrate, but
Mm-hmm.
with Microsoft Teams now everyone
Mm-hmm.
started migrating to Microsoft Teams with the growth that it's seeing and the available options that's there, and the integration, especially with Microsoft Flow, Microsoft. Teams
Share,
with the existing Microsoft Office 365.
SharePoint, everything is good. Yeah,
SharePoint, everything is integrated into the Teams, and people started using Teams,
I like
which
Teams.
has a
I just
rapid growth as of now.
seriously, I just love Teams. When you
Yes,
have a Skype call or a Teams call, you can see the difference.
exactly, exactly. So let's see with the value, or let's see with the code. So
Okay,
what exactly is happening here? Here we have a Microsoft Form ID that again is a drop down.
okay,
You just need to select the Microsoft Form ID. If you have the access, then it should be available with a drop down for you. The next thing is initialize the logical name. So all these details will be available from your
UiPath,
what you can say, from your orchestrator. So if I
API
go to my
access,
orchestrator, so if I go
uh,
to
UiPath.com.
platform.uipath.com, so this is available for us right away. Let's go with this and let's see.
So the first, I understood the second, third, and fourth thing, which is for first one, that is form. What actually we are doing, means I am not getting that. That
So whenever you call an orchestrator, what exactly do you need? You need to have the tenant access.
no, no, no. These I understood from the API
Uh-huh.
access. We are getting the client ID, username,
Correct.
and tenant logical name from the
Correct.
first point. Like when when a person submits a form, then it will trigger a process,
Yes.
something like that.
Yes.
Okay, so
So
this form is normal like a UiPath form. It will open and all those things will come.
again, this form is something like a Google form, which normally we used to take the data, or
Okay,
take the data from a user.
okay, okay,
So what happens when a form, Microsoft form? So what we need to create this particular Microsoft form using our Microsoft account. When we have this account, you will have all the options that are available. You can take the value, or you can directly take the values from here.
okay.
So the best thing is they have integrated everything here. Without any code, we can directly import them in your Microsoft Flow.
So this process is like a attended bot, attended process.
So this is not an attended now, because it will be triggered on a form submit.
Okay, okay, okay. Understood.
Okay. So what should be an attended bot? Someone like here, if I click here on test, and if I click on run, then it's a
That
manual process.
it's an attended based upon the form submission. And
Correct.
in the form we are giving those information, our logical name and everything.
Yes.
What?
No, no. That again, that's added in this particular tenant in our code. That's added
Okay,
tenant logical name. So what this form? I created this form only to receive the details from a user, nothing else. Let's say that in this name, email ID, and phone
understood.
number, along with this, we have a data. But I want to show this. I want to take this data and I want to implement that in our desktop. So
Correct,
how
correct.
I can integrate that form to a desktop? That is possible with Microsoft Flow
Understood,
and also with the orchestrator.
understood, understood.
So here, what data do we need to get? All we need to do is go to the API
API.
access, and we have all the details that are available that we need to have. So here
Correct.
in from user key, if you see from alt, okay, let's go with all three. Okay, what do we have from here? So here I gave the proper naming convention so that you can go ahead and just pull up the values and place them. User
Correct.
key, you need to place them in the user key. Okay,
Logical name.
yeah, logical name is from the logical name. But here, if you see the initial base URL, this is the URL that you need to have it from here. So if you see
Hmm.
here, this is the URL, and if you go into this, then you will have a value. So if I see here, this version default will be the my default tenant.
Yeah, what I heard is when they have migrated, I don't know, I have not done this.
Mhm.
Uh, when they have migrated to 2020, now if we just give this cloud.uipath.com only,
Yes.
then in the robot it's able to connect. We don't need to write the logical name and then our I don't know about this, but
Mm.
normally now if we go in a assistant, If we just like write this.
So it's connecting using the key, simple thing.
Mm,
Whenever
okay.
there is a key that's available, and that will be a unique key that will be accessible only with our login.
Mm-hmm.
So
Understood.
that should be a simple logic which they might be using. But here again, if you see this value, we need to give. So these values we need to initialize. So again, if you add all these details and the client ID, again the client ID is from here.
Correct.
So
Client
it's
edition.
like the demo that I have shown for chatbot integration. Just add the details and things will run on its own.
Yeah.
So this I have created this flow in the same way. Just add these details and the tenant logical name. Everything will be taken directly from the variables that are
Correct.
available. Okay.
Correct. And
So what's happening here in authenticate request? So whenever we need to do some authentication or whenever we need to call the data, first we need to authenticate the request. We need to say that, okay, I'm the authenticated person who is making the request. So please allow me and give me the access.
access token.
Yes, access token, which is also a bearer token that we are requesting for.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm doing, I'm calling this particular, again, this URL is different from our orchestrator URL. So this
Yeah.
account.uipath.com is used only to
Authenticate.
give, give the access. That's what I'm saying. This is
Mm-hmm.
used only to give the access, nothing else.
Correct.
Okay. But if you see here in the again in the content type and application JSON, all the details are pre-filled. So only things that you need to fill is the variables that we have assigned earlier. So
Yeah.
if you are able to fill them, then things will be much more easier for you.
Correct.
So let's again see with what's there in the next. So whenever we pass in the values with authenticate request, we will get some
Response
response.
in JSON format.
Correct. And the response will be of this type. This type of, again, this is a particular structure that UiPath is following.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are able to paste this particular structure, it will give you the access token value and ID token value in key format, in
Uh,
like a key value format again.
Understood. I just wanted to know over here means like in UiPath we have deserialization to parse to
Exactly.
get the to how in this okay parse JSON is some action or in Microsoft. Uh,
Exactly. Again, that can be taken from add action. You can see the values like JSON. If you just add JSON here,
mhm.
things okay. I need to improve my handwriting. Okay, if I
Yeah, I
add
got it.
JSON here, so we can see
Parse
all the JSON
JSON.
values from here, like parse JSON, post value to the JSON. But no, normally we are using parse JSON so that it takes the JSON string and converts it into a JSON object.
Correct.
That's what the use of this is, nothing else.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
we are
whatever.
taking that JSON object. So to start any robot, what do we need to have? We need to have a process name. So if I go to my orchestrator and if I go to my tenant, so there are multiple processes that I already have, like this
Over here we
process.
are starting a process or adding the items in the queues in this workflow.
We can do anything. That's what I'm saying. Again, this particular thing is add items to queue and start a process.
Okay, okay, understood.
Both the things
Both,
I'm doing in a single
both.
flow. Okay, that can also be possible because everything is like a HTTP call, right? So I have
Mhm.
taken this complete name and I just passed over here, which is initialize process name to start. Okay, now in
Okay.
the next one, what I'm doing, so again, this is an activity. So whatever request I get here, I'm taking those values. So get
Mhm.
response details. In this response details, this will actually convert the response into a JSON format or a key value pair.
Okay. Yeah.
So what
Get
is the
response.
difference between this activity and this activity? So this activity is used to trigger the flow. It's like a trigger. Again, this activity is to get the values from the trigger.
Uh, get the values from the trigger. Okay.
Yes. And if you see in this particular post, if you see here in the trigger body, get the resource data and response ID, which is the response ID. Let's
Which
say
the
that there
you.
are 10 responses that we have
Mm-hmm.
directly from the, for around 100 people, directly they posted continuously to this particular form. for each and every response, there will be a response ID through which
Correct.
it's going to match the key value pairs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to fetch the response ID, and that from that response ID, we are going to get the values. Here again, we are initializing the orchestrator queue name to add the values to the queue. If you see here in the queue name, in the queues,
Mm-hmm.
there is something called copy paste.
Okay. This
So
queue name.
here, yeah, here in the view transactions, whenever I trigger the process, the values will be added here. If you see here, view details.
All the values which a person has submitted
Yes,
in the
again
form.
for that, there is a specific thing to be done. Like we need to send a JSON value or a JSON string to this particular queue.
Correct.
Right?
Understood.
It's like a HTTP request. When we send the data, when we send a HTTP call, we can also send a body of the request.
Correct. JSON
So in
body.
that body, I'm sending this particular value.
Yeah. Understood.
So in this add HTTP queue item, what exactly I'm trying to do? Again, this is a URL. That's again a dynamic URL. If the URL changes in future, all you need to do is change it in one place, because every
Understood.
HTTP call is made with this particular base URL.
Mm-hmm.
In future, if you want to change this particular default tenant as well as the URL, change it one place and everything will be updated on its own, and the calls will be taken from the dynamic variable.
Also for a reusable component, like if we have the variable itself, then every person just need to write over there only their own URL, source
Yes.
URL, and it will be added. Yeah.
And the best part is you can actually, instead of having this trigger when a form response is submitted, except this, everything can be taken as a reusable component and kept aside. And this can be triggered using HTTP call. As earlier I have shown you trigger using HTTP call, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this can be called as a HTTP request as well. I can directly call this flow as HTTP request and send the data to this particular flow. And in that particular request, I can also send the
Okay.
body as the data, so that I can, so a customizable, the complete flow is customizable if you want
Yeah.
to have it.
Yes, I guess.
And in this
Okay.
add queue items, I'm directly adding the queue items and his specific
Specific content
content.
is the forms detail which we got before that.
Exactly.
This.
Again, we are building a specific content object here, right?
Yeah.
So
To
that
give it to
object,
the
we are
body.
passing the value here,
Understood. Understood.
passing this as a value here. And finally, here we are getting a response HTTP process ID. So what this process ID is, see, there can be 10 different process names
Mm-hmm.
with same name.
Okay. Process
Okay,
name is
one might be with dev, one might be with dev 1, one might be with dev 2.
different environment. You mean to say?
Maybe
Uh,
different environments, as well as there might be different same names with different values.
okay. Different
Okay,
version.
exactly. Now, but how UiPath stores this data? There will be a unique key that they will maintain in their process or in their database.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
when we are making a
Each process has a specific release key.
correct, this everything has a specific release key. So if you see here in this particular view process, so there might be two releases. We might run the first release or the second release.
Correct.
So even that is possible with using HTTP request for us. But here, if you see back to our code, just make a HTTP call. The code is available here. The only thing that you need to update is this value.
Correct.
So from where you get these values, if you check here, there is something called dynamic content.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you check with the dynamic content, all the values are provided from here. So from response details, see here, get response details. What do we have? We have the complete body. We
Yeah.
have the keys, exact key values from
Okay.
the form. If you see here, the form has a name, email address, phone number, and why do you want to join.
Why
And
I
the
want to
same key
join?
values are assigned here. And also we
Correct.
can see the responder's email, who responded to this email. Within the organization,
Mm-hmm.
if somebody has responded and if you want to send a direct response to that particular person, we can get those details as well.
Yeah.
All you need to do is go ahead here and just add one particular item. So I can just add here,
New
and I
key
can
value
just
pair.
add, yeah, email response email.
Response email ID.
Yeah, response email ID, and I can just keep a double quote here, and I can just go ahead and select responder's email. As
Okay.
simple as that.
So what you did, you just copied it, or how this variable came over here?
So whenever a form activity is added, this will be added by default to the flow.
Uh, Nini,
So
now you created a new variable, right? New key value pair, response
correct,
email, and then in
correct.
double quotes, like in UiPath, already if I res it in the drop down, it gives us the different variable which are already there with there. In how in Power Automate, how you got this currently? You copied
This
the whole
particular
variable.
responder's email,
Yeah.
just like I can directly check. So can you see the drop down that's available here?
It means it gives you this drop down from there. Okay, understood.
Exactly, it will give you everything like whatever variables that we have. See in parse.json also we have all these tokens that are available, all the keys that are
Mm-hmm.
available. I
Mm-hmm.
can
Okay,
select any key. In the same way, I can select the responder's email directly.
understood. Okay.
I can
And
directly place the cursor here, and if I click responder's email,
uh,
I only need to worry about I create a proper structure.
mhm.
Like I don't
And
have any comma separate. I don't have any issues with the comma. Those
okay,
things I need to
understood.
worry. But if I am able to add the values, then things will run on their own.
Okay, and we over they have given the save option also. We need to keep saving it like
Exactly.
this.
So I can directly save it from here and I can continue. But
Mm-hmm.
what the best thing is, UiPath also provided triggers for us so that whenever a new queue item is added, I can directly go and start a trigger. That's the beauty of beautiful option that I'm seeing from UiPath. Because
Yeah.
earlier we used to worry or we used to check UiPath queue items. If there is queue item, then start the bot. That should be
Mm-hmm.
one of the options that I followed
Yeah.
while I'm starting the flows. But now, as soon as I add queue items, I need not worry about starting the bot.
Okay.
So bot will keep them in pending state. Whenever the bot
Uh,
is free, the bot starts triggering.
so whenever the bot is free, if the bot is already free, means you're talking about a unattended bot. Okay.
Yes. So whenever there is an unattended bot, the bot might be running some other process.
It's busy right now, and we
Busy.
have four items added. Those are in new state, and as soon as the bot is available, it will execute those.
Yes,
Correct.
trigger gets initiated, and
Mm-hmm.
if you are using the RE framework, then
Mm-hmm.
all the queue items will also be taken. See,
Yeah.
why I implemented queue also in this is, let's say that 100 people submitted the form at a single shot.
Mm-hmm.
So this will throw an error stating that orchestrator will throw an error that already there is a job in pending. Why are you sending me many requests?
Correct.
Okay, but when we are adding this to queue, it will not say me that the bot is in pending state. It will just add the values to the
Items.
queue items.
Yeah, and it
So
will wait.
from orchestrator, it can worry on itself when to start the bot and when not to start the bot.
Yeah, understood.
As a person, if I'm in a support, I need not worry if the bot starts or not.
Correct. Correct.
So that's the best option that they have implemented in UiPath Orchestrator. So if you
So
see again, yeah, you're saying something?
yeah, in this process ID, we are for a specific process, we are triggering a specific process, right, to get a
Correct.
process ID. So for a specific, means there are 5-10 processes already there. We are getting the release ID. That is the process ID to start. That is second part of this whole process. One is to add an item to queues that we have done, and the second part that is start process to get to start that API to start the next process. We are getting the process ID.
Exactly. So if you see here, we added the item to queue. Again, if I have a trigger in my UiPath, it will trigger on its own.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't have a trigger, I can just call a HTTP with a process ID. So again, how am I going to get the process ID if I don't know it? I can send the key name of the process. Okay, again, if you see here, I started the value from here. Initiate the process name to start. This is the value that I'm giving here. which
Mm-hmm.
is a static value that I need to manually give. But here, get the process ID, which is going to be HTTP call. And this
Okay.
value is a URL that is provided by UiPath again. If you see in the orchestrator,
Yeah,
this
correct.
particular postman.uipath rocks, they have given complete list of things that you can do with API call.
Correct. Seen this.
So all you need to do is go with the URL, OData, and queue definitions. I can get the queue definitions. If I'm going to get the assets, I can go ahead and get the assets. If I'm going to set an asset per robot, I can also do that. I can start a job. I can get the job details. I can also create logs. I can also create machines. I can also create queues. Everything can be
One
done with an API
one
call.
one thing I like I was done doing a POC. One bug which I found is
Mm-hmm.
uh, like what we were trying to do is we were trying to get the robot logs. Like we have the execution log in or app data right now. Those execution log which we were trying to get through robot log API. So
Okay.
what we thought, we will filter it with the timestamp. There is
Okay.
one key value pair of time stamp when it
Correct.
comes to robot log. But it was for the robot log API only. It was not able to filter with the this. Uh,
Okay.
ta- that's the issue we got. Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Maybe. But again, we need to again try with all the things to get things done. Like since you have already implemented, you might have found this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if you have added that to form, maybe we can get some reply for that as well. But
Yeah.
again, since this is in OData protocol, so
Mm-hmm.
OData protocol supports filtering of the data, sorting of the data,
Correct.
ascending and descending order. So that should be available. Maybe since it's a bug, it might not be able to. We are not able to do it. But
Mm-hmm.
again, coming back to our flow,
Mm-hmm.
simple thing. Again, when we are sending this as a process request, we are going to get the JSON response.
Yeah.
So that JSON response will be in a specific format.
Yeah. Correct.
So this specific format again we can get from here. So what I can just go ahead and do is just go and start a job. Maybe in start a job we can get all the values like this. View more. So this is the value that I'm going to get. O data context and with the key with start time and end time everything. In the same way I can get the values from here. Here just the type, properties. I generated from a sample, but you too can how sample works is if I already have a response, I can add the response to this and this particular schema will be generated on its own.
Mm-hmm.
I need not worry about creating this particular schema as well. Schema will be created by our Microsoft Flow. All I need to do is I need to just click on create a JSON. For example, let's go ahead and add a JSON. Let's see with a
Okay.
JSON.
Mm-hmm.
So parse JSON. So in this parse JSON, I can give a context, but here in generate from the sample, this schema, all I can
Okay.
do is I can go with particular, for example, this is the schema that I have.
Wow, that's a very cool feature.
Yes, so all I can do is I
So
can
we do
take
not
this
need to
particular,
worry. We do not need to worry like in UI, but we do go to correct key, and from there we need to get the values. Just need to get over here. That's very
exactly.
cool.
I just need to select this particular item. Okay,
Schema sample.
yes, schema sample, copy this and paste it here. Okay, and just press done.
Okay.
There is an unexpected token. Okay, let's remove this particular release name and all. Maybe I did not copy this properly.
Yeah.
Let's copy this once more.
So over here we have all the value is the main key. Under that we have all single key value pairs.
Yeah, see here, I copied and pasted everything. Now I just press done and schema will be automatically generated.
Okay, and the result like for each key value pair, it's already. So I want this like anything. I want a special key, so it automatically creates a variable, or we need to create which variable we want to create.
Variables are available right away. That's
Oh,
the thing. So if you see
wow.
here, start a job and let me add some value here. I'm not going to add it, but let's see what do we have. See this from. JSON.
Okay.
JSON 3, all the
Hmm.
key, source type, creation ID, release name, everything is available for us.
Wow, wow, wow. That's very cool feature by Microsoft. So
Exactly.
we do not need to worry about the like it's a single JSON or it's a JSON array. We don't need to worry about how we are going to
Exactly. Now, if
deserialize
you
it.
see in this particular JSON that we have, we have this as a array.
Yeah, correct. So
Okay,
these with UiPath, you need to go for each row, and then you need to get the data to a specific key value. But with this, we just need to give a sample, and automatically for all the key value pairs, it gives the variable and the value we can directly use it.
exactly. And also, if I select a key here, it
Hmm.
already assigned me key value pair along with the for each loop.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so it generates code as well. We do not worry about how things will work. All we need to worry about is how we are going to implement the flow. Though we
That's a
need to
really
have
good.
some specific coding knowledge, but
Uh-huh.
having something like this is will make our lives much more easier,
Correct.
and
For each
and
value.
coding can be very easy with these things.
Hmm.
Okay, now let's see with the
And
flow again.
also, like, so
Yeah,
if we are in the same flow, we are having four JSON, and all four JSON are having same key value pair. Then also there is no ambiguity or something. For means it will automatically identify. Like for JSON 3, this is the key means the key value name will be the same. Like,
exactly,
but it will automatically identify that this is job JSON 3 and this is JSON 2 value.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly. So again,
Okay.
how it goes is parent with the JSON. So again, for
Oh,
this JSON, there will be an ID from
okay.
the background that they
Mm-hmm.
have created. So from that ID, they are going to pick one JSON, and that JSON they are going to pick a key.
Okay.
So all we need is we need to have a key. So if you see in the key, see what we are seeing is different from what exactly is happening. In the
Mm-hmm.
items, apply for each job ID, it's taking a key.
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
again in that key, what is it taking? It's actually parsing the JSON. See the parse JSON 2, which is the activity here. From
uh-huh.
that body, find a value,
Okay.
and in this code we need not write.
Okay.
So this code will be generated. All we need to see is how we are extracting the value and placing the values properly.
Okay. Okay.
Now here
Understood.
again we have something called flow checker to check if there are any errors.
Mm-hmm. So,
And
the last one, I wanted to know it again. Like, just go up a little bit.
okay,
Like in the JSON 2, we got the key value pair and we got the release key
correct.
from. Okay. And now we have used the for each row. What we over here is called apply for each means for
This
each
for
active.
each row I did not create.
It automatically created.
It automatically created depending upon the JSON.
Okay. Okay, and you give, but later give, this you give in for each means this to start a job. This you give
This
means for
HTTP event, so I just added HTTP start job.
okay.
Okay, just let me show you how I did this.
Mm-hmm.
So
Means okay.
HTTP, we can use HTTP, and in this HTTP we will have all the values. In this HTTP, if I
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and let me paste something here. So let's go with the body again. So what do we have from the body? So we have this value. So let's create a JSON here. So I can create a JSON, and in this JSON I can add some key called some start key.
When we need not to worry about this also. Like in UiPath, if we use HTTP activity, then if you are passing the body, then there is like double code should be a single code. This thing is there.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
we don't need to worry over here. We just write normal JSON how we write in Postman and
Yes,
Swagger. We just need
yes,
to write in that fashion. Okay,
absolutely correct. Okay, and if you
cool.
see here, there is something called key that we have, and
Yeah, key is available.
that is from what? That is from apply for each job ID. But here we are taking the value from parse to JSON, right? Parse
Okay,
JSON 2. Now if you go ahead and JSON 2, and if you select key, now see
key.
here I don't have a for each loop.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Now what I in JSON 2 key.
In JSON 2,
Okay.
I'm taking the key. Now see what it extracted. It created a for each apply
Mm-hmm.
and it selected a value, and in that
Okay.
value it actually fetched a key value for us.
Okay. So,
Okay,
madam, whatever job, like whatever key, like there are multiple keys are there in that JSON. So for it automatically recognize like there are multiple keys are there. So it
yes,
automatically creates the for each key for all these value we need to do. Okay,
correct.
that's very
Okay,
cool.
that's how it's taking. But if you want to take only one value, we can obviously write a. So instead of taking items apply for each of key, we can directly give one key value.
Yeah, yeah. How like it automatically give this for each when I choose this key value. How
Correct.
what if I for a specific like for the first release ID for the first if I need to do that only for the first. How we'll go to that
Again, we need to check with the values. So here again, we can write a code to fetch first item or the second item.
and then break something
Yeah,
like that.
and then also we can also do that.
Okay.
So that we can directly, instead of passing the key here, we can
Mm-hmm.
actually check with the pass to JSON. In that, I
Mm-hmm.
can go internally, like dot value dot key of
Okay.
0.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. And
0th key is what I want.
understood.
Even that I can do. Okay. So let's see with the test. I already have previous runs
Okay.
succeeded, but in the previous runs, I did not add the responder's email,
Mm-hmm.
now
Okay.
which I have added. Hopefully this should work. If I didn't work, then I need to change. But let's see.
So we have now it's a good.
So okay, what do we have here? Apply for each job ID. Okay, the robot already has pending jobs for the process. See that this is the problem that we will have when we already have the jobs to process from the robot. All I can do here is I can go with UiPath Assistant.
Mm-hmm.
So when I start UiPath Assistant, the robot picks up and checks for the existing jobs and they will run. Let's see. Connected to orchestrator. See hello world forms. Dev.
Yeah,
It's already there. That's the reason it actually threw me an error. But one thing we can check is, did it add the key or the sender's key? That we can check, because in the previous versions I did not add that particular value.
yeah. The
In the
new
view
SN.
transactions, this is key. So view details.
Yeah,
So
response
response
email.
email is anonymous because the form that I'm using here,
Mm-hmm.
this form I actually shared with everyone.
Correct.
But if I shared internally within my organization, then I can get responder's email.
Okay.
Maybe I can change it right away. In the settings, I can, anyone can the link only respond one response per person. I can also check, but I can keep it like this and I can preview. I will try to submit this once since I
Yeah.
already have it. Now I have completely three different flows with the same trigger activity. On submission of one flow form item, I have three different flows. If you see here,
Like
edit,
huh.
okay, save, go back, cancel, save it, saved, go back. Now if I go to flows, so all these three flows, add queue, you add UiPath queue, start UiPath process with a process name, and add UiPath queue and start process. Every flow has a single trigger.
Correct.
So I can even start multiple flows with a single trigger.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's
Let's
submit this. Let's
let's submit
give
one.
Abhinav and Abhi at mail.com, and let's give my
Phone number.
964229492, and let's go with outlook.com. Again, I did not add responder's email to my UiPath form. I need to do it, obviously.
Yeah.
But what we need to see here is if we are able to add this
In the
particular
queue.
item.
In the
Yes,
queue.
and if you see here, we will have runs. We can check. If I go to this particular thing, obviously I got this item. I can submit it. I think I need to have second one as well because I also have this particular item. This particular start process with process name also is activated.
Correct.
So these two are activated. And one more thing is I have three different items to be added to the queue because here one item is added to the queue. Here one item is added to the queue. So two items should be added to the queue, but one item from the queue is called. So one
Correct.
new item is available, should be available, and one in
One in
progress item
new,
should be available.
one
Okay.
in progress.
Yes. So let's go and see. Let's see with all the items.
Hmm.
So I have
Okay.
multiple items, but let's see with. I think I can start it. Okay. I can go with this
This
in progress. I can check with the details. So see here.
yeah,
Okay.
correct.
Simple response email. I have my value added to this.
Correct.
No need to worry about other things.
Yep.
And
In new also we
by new also we need to have one item. Let's see with the
yeah.
new view details.
Okay.
I didn't have this because in
We
this
didn't
code I didn't add the value.
with the last one, the new key value pair we didn't add it in this.
Yes, the new key value we didn't add here, but again, here we can see that we can submit one form and we can submit, we can start multiple processes.
Three
Like one
process.
trigger activity, multiple flows can start from here.
Correct. Correct.
As simple as that. Okay, so how are you going to implement?
This looks very cool actually. What I loved about this now, the
Mm-hmm.
JSON part, I loved it. Seriously,
Yes,
that is making our job so much easy. And when I used to play with UiPath with API, then there was on the first attempt there was always some error in the JSON. If we are giving a body, it's a complex body, then
yes,
we need to do a lot of single digit, double digit manipulation. From the
correct,
first two three run, it was always giving error. But the functionality which Microsoft is providing, like normally we write in Postman, normally key value pair, and how it's recognizing that it has multiple and giving it already in a for each row, that is very
correct.
really good. So yeah, I'll try to explore this and
Maybe.
like
So what
really
exactly I'm trying to do? I'm also trying to implement something with Google Forms.
okay.
So Google Forms also have the same functionality, but the
Mm-hmm.
problem with the Google Forms is we need to write JavaScript code there.
Okay, to
So
create
only
a
someone who is having a coding knowledge
uh-huh.
will be able to work on Google Forms app scripts. But
Mm.
this UiPath, this Microsoft Forms, these are easy.
Okay.
Even a non-coder can, if he have some basic coding knowledge, he can understand this particular values and the way how we can configure.
Yeah, and this looks cool. I think Microsoft itself is providing that, and it's very cool.
Yeah, and also moreover, I am trying to share this particular code which I have already generated so that people will not try to regenerate because I faced issues in creating the variables because whenever we try to create variables, especially for the JSON part,
Mm-hmm.
the names itself are acting like a keys. If I keep some different names, we are having errors in the particular flow.
Yeah, that I was going to ask. Like you said now, in the JSON, what parse JSON activity, if I use
Mm,
it itself creates the variable with the same key names.
correct.
And if we are using multiple JSON, then it might gives us a little bit of confusion. So we
Yeah.
can't edit it automatically creates a variable. We can't edit a variable name.
So again, variable names we cannot edit, but if you
Oh,
want to change something in the JSON, again there is something called initialize items, right?
like
So
assign.
SN value, like something like SN, you can obviously do it from here. You can create a new SN variable and you can pass the
Mm,
values to them. But
understood.
the problem that I faced is not exactly with the key value. but with this naming that they are providing, like parse
So
JSON and parse JSON 2, if I change these names, I face some issues.
we can't change the name.
We can change the name, but I face the issues. I did not find the exact reason why, but it's throwing an error.
Okay. So yeah, you means Microsoft all itself gave this parse JSON 2 name.
Yeah, these are automatically generated names, but if you want to understand more detail about it, you can write an add comment over it. And I already added comments for everything. So HTTP add queue items, everything. If you go back and let's save this, if
Hmm.
you go back to our process, Microsoft My Flows, let's wait. Okay, yeah, got them. So if you just see add UiPath queue and start jobs, I added all the comments. So everything, naming convention is proper. All you need to see is you can also see with the comment here. Okay,
Where I can't see the acha. This
so parse
parse,
auth response body.
but
Okay,
this should not be like this is like a negative thing, na? Like in UiPath, we give a proper name to activity. We rename the each activity so that other developer can also see that.
maybe what we can exactly do is, since it is creating with the name, first we need to edit the name properly, then we can add the values to it.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Maybe.
maybe that will work. But since
Maybe
the
that.
name is already generated, it might be assigned to a particular name. Let's
Because
see.
it's auto assigning it.
Yes, exactly. So let's simple example I can show you is I can try to add or I can try to update this. What is this is exactly doing? Parse auth response body, right? Let's rename this JSON auth response. Let's see if we are going to get an error. Response. That's it. Let's save. So again, this is used only to. Okay, see here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, correct. Include valid reference parse JSON for the input HTTP add queue item, because HTTP add queue item takes this parse JSON key.
Correct.
Now, when I change this particular item, it's throwing an error. But what we can do is first we can rename this.
And then only we can put the values in sample. Just yeah.
Yes,
That
so that way I think we can add the values properly. So if I just remove these items or remove this key properly to the value
parse JSON only.
pass JSON and let's save it. It goes.
So this, what is the difference between this flow checker and test? Like now we are testing, like if there is any errors, we are
So
testing
flow
through.
checker is like validating if the flow is correct or not.
Okay,
If all the key value pairs and everything that's given is correct or not. If we have any errors or warnings, like how we see in UiPath the list of warnings or errors that we have that we can see here. In test, actually it's like a debug value, debug function.
okay. Debugging we do through test.
Yes, directly I can go ahead and test here. So rather than just so here we can also submit the form or else we can use the existing data.
Mm-hmm. So you are using existing data, okay?
Yeah, so earlier I submitted one form, right? I
Yeah.
can use the same form and I can rerun the process. That's again
Okay.
one of the best way where we can get the data. So if you see here, we have two values from here again, view details, we have the values.
So if we want to debug it from the new means, if we want to test it with a new value, then we want to change anything.
If you want to test it, just go ahead and run this form again.
Okay, understood.
But again, if you want to debug the things manually, since
Uh,
we are triggering this bot from the form, we need to do this.
okay, we need to first go there and give a new values and then trigger over
Correct.
here.
But if you are going to use something with a click button or something, the only thing is you need to run manually. But
Mm-hmm.
there you always have an option to initialize some variable and we can debug them. That's always an
Understood.
option.
Understood.
Understood. Okay.
Yes.
I think
Mm,
yes. So the next thing will be I will be sending a form to everyone. All you need to do is add your name and add your email
email,
ID
email ID
and
and
add your name that's there linked with your YouTube account.
correct.
The bot which I'm going to create is I will just go ahead and I will check with the details that you have provided and with my subscribers. Okay. If I have the subscriber, then I will give you the code. As simple as it. Bot will give you the code. I am not the person who is going to send to everyone.
Yeah, correct. It's very cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Okay. We have two someone online. I haven't seen the chat yet, but
Kapil
we
is there.
have Kapil, Jagpat. People, you people are amazing. So I know you are amazing, dude. And also we have Ramya. Hi all. Hi.
Hi, hi, Ramya.
Hi, Sajan. Okay, we don't have any viewers right now, but okay, let's stop our stream and
Sure,
like,
sure.
share, and subscribe Bajrang Talks and UiPath by Bajrang Bilakurti. Right? You're
Yeah,
going to get
like
a lot
sure.
of content
Yeah, you
for
people
sure.
are getting uh this I will tell you offline.
Okay, see you. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye, 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 guys.
Let's